All right, peace, world. Had to jump on here. Something was kind of bothering me. Jump into some bite down boxing. My name is Wood. And forgive me, for anybody that was checking on this week's part 6 of the of Showtime's Your Honor. I'm gonna get around to that episode recap. It's kind of a slower episode this week, but I'm gonna jump into it maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I think tomorrow. But a couple of things here with this Golden Boy situation. Poor Tevin Farmer. The family does not support Tevin Farmer the way that they unconditionally support Deontay Wilder. Obviously, different type of career, I guess. Tevin Farmer was a world champion and really made something out of nothing coming back from, what was he, like 7-4 or something at one point in time before going on and getting to a world title. But we're not out here making a video a day over how he got screwed. So let me go back to the beginning. Last January, they had the IBF super featherweight title fight between Tevin Farmer, the American Dream, and Jojo Diaz down in Miami, Florida. It streamed live on DAZN, and Tevin Farmer lost his strap, but there was a rematch in the fight. We've never seen that rematch. Now we get to 2020, and Jojo Diaz has a mandatory defense that he was getting ready to take against I can't pronounce my man. I haven't heard anybody. If I hear somebody's name pronounced once, I can rock with it. I can knock it out. But I haven't even heard this cat's name pronounced yet, so it's very hard for me to take a run at it. But his last name is Rakhimov. I believe he's the number 1 ranked IBF, super featherweight and whatnot to earn this mandatory. But that Tevin Farmer is sitting here locked out in the cold and doesn't seem to have any course of action to take to get this rematch that he negotiated for the first fight. With the first fight. And I've been listening to some of this over the last year, back and forth, and it's a bad situation for the guy. Obviously, he was the A side in the first fight. He was the world title holder, but he's not the DAZN guy. He's not the Golden Boy guy. Which brings me to what the title is about. The title of the video is about that Oscar might need to follow very closely what's going on with TIDAL and Jay-Z potentially being bought by, what is it, Square? Well, maybe the Golden Boy name, maybe Golden Boy needs to let somebody else run with that. Because I think in boxing, it's an iconic, it's an iconic name that most of us would probably like to see kept around. Maybe some people would like to see it burned down because of Oscar De La Hoya and issues with the emails and all of that stuff from a few years ago. But I don't know, man. I like the name, even though it is, the namesake. We might have some problems with him and whatnot, but I think it's still a good name. It's a great name for boxing. But Oscar is running it into the ground. And this is another example. I'm starting to put pieces together. I hear people complaining and hating on Oscar for this reason or that reason. Like I said, the email situation, the N-word was used in the emails, I guess, or allegedly. I know at one point in time, you know, the partners consisted of B-Hop, who's still on board, as well as Sugar Shane Mosley, I believe, was in there at one point in time. I think he took his bag or his cut and went out on his own or left. But you know, we saw the situation transpire where Canelo, he lost Canelo. I mean, how you can mess that up? You know, one of the biggest names in the sport. How you can mess that up? We heard about all the shenanigans that were wrapped up in this deal that they had, where basically they used Canelo to get a deal for the rest of their fighters with DAZN. But we know that Golden Boy cost Canelo his IBF, what was that, middleweight title? Messing around with Derevianchenko, didn't get the deal done in time or didn't get it resolved in time, cost him that title. And, you know, like I said, I've heard people complaining and knocking them, but sometimes people that are talking about a lot of this stuff, they don't know much behind the scenes. So what I'm getting ready to play is Jojo Diaz was on the Akim Barak show maybe yesterday, and listening to what he says, because we don't always get a lot of truth in this thing. Very few of us ever see any contracts. We don't get, it's so many unknowns that we just don't really know what we're talking about. But in listening to Jojo Diaz's comments, I can tell it's some more information for me to put together, along with what came out in the Canelo Alvarez situation when they went to when they had their mediation or whatever that was called, arbitration, maybe, whatever, when they went away from Canelo's lawsuit and they ended up having to sit down between DAZN, Golden Boy, and Canelo, and you saw all the stuff that came out there. And also in this interview on the Akim Barak show, Jojo Diaz also mentioned something else that reiterates what was said during the Canelo situation. Joe, and it's why I'm putting it together that Golden Boy messed up this fight and they screwed over Tevin Farmer. But Jojo Diaz said, he said now that he's with MTK as part of his advisory group, part of his advisory team, and he may even be under the Rick Maringian cat now, who I mostly know from Jose Ramirez. But he said now he's getting emails. One of the things that happened in the Canelo situation was that Canelo did not know the side deal that Golden Boy had with DAZN for Golden Boy to get like $5 million or whatever for any fight or for every fight that they made. And then they basically, Golden Boy promised DAZN that they could get the trilogy fight with Triple G done, which never happened. So all of this stuff came out, and it's like, Golden Boy is trash. Plus, let's go back even further than that. We know all of the fighters that moved to the PBC from Golden Boy. All of that situation was on Golden Boy's watch or on Oscar's watch. So it's like, what the hell are you over there doing? I also talked about last week, leading up to the Ryan Garcia fight with Luke Campbell. There was no emails sent out. There was no press releases. There was no Zoom conference calls. It was nothing. This is the new face of Golden Boy boxing with the departure of Canelo. I didn't get a single email. I didn't get a single press release. You can't get pictures on fight night. I didn't even bother writing the fight up and discussing it, because all I can do is use a screenshot or whatever of the Golden Boy logo. That's what the articles, if you go check on bitedownboxing.com, whenever I talk about Actually, I got an email one time from Round by Round Boxing. I used some of the pictures from the email that they got. I emailed them like 10 times over like 4 months and was told, you know, we'll get you together on the next event. It never happened. I said, what the hell with it, man? I really ain't that pressed to do your bidding. But with Ryan Garcia generating some clicks, you know, I planned on writing that one up, but you know, I said the hell with it. But Jojo Diaz said now he's getting and included on emails whenever there's some business going on that involves him. And then he also said his new lawyer, he said he learned that his lawyer was actually Golden Boy's lawyer. So anything on his previous deals, he was just being told what to do and just being given bad information. So that's why he moved over. And several of these Golden Boy fighters, I think Virgil Ortiz might have been one of them that made the move. I believe Arnold Barbosa made the move over to this MTK. And I think it was one more. But yeah, he said now his lawyer is he said his lawyer is working on things for him and fighting for him and getting things right for him. And he said he's seeing all the emails of his business that he wasn't seeing before. I blame that on him, because if you weren't seeing emails, I mean, that's something pretty easy to go out there and fight for and to get that to happen. But what he says here in this clip that I'm getting ready to play is that Golden Boy must have messed up his first must have messed up the first deal, which was for 2 fights. So what he's pissed off about now and why he won't fight Tevin Farmer is because Tevin Farmer is still getting paid more than him in the rematch. But that's still consistent with what we saw with AJ and Ruiz when Ruiz had the rematch. But we know that his pay went from what, 4 or 5 up to like, let's just say 10. Maybe it was 11, maybe it was 9, I don't know, but it was something like that. But you can see that the PBC, even though that was rushed because it was late in the game because of the late replacement with the Jarrell Miller, whatever he popped on, all the stuff he popped on, the cocktail, the stuff that he popped on. We still know that Ruiz got paid well for the first fight, and then essentially it just doubled for the second fight. So he was taken care of. Here in this situation right here, they just got Jojo Diaz this title fight, and they didn't bother to address the second fight. So either they didn't think he was going to win that fight, or Golden Boy altogether is just negligent. So let me go on and play what Jojo told Akin Barak.
That's in the budget. I mean, Golden Boy was that's the budget. The budget is between, you know, what Golden Boy makes, what Eddie Hearn makes, what Tevin Farmer makes, and what I make, and what DAZN is willing to put out. And DAZN is putting out a certain amount of money, where Tevin Farmer is getting the bigger half due to the contract, due to what he signed. And I feel like now he got to switch it up. If he really wants that fight, I mean, take a lesser cut from your pay and give me the bigger pot, and then we can make it happen.
Now, did you hear that right there? This is why we're people are sitting here now going to the mat, taking it to a mattress in favor on the behalf of Deontay Wilder and his situation with Tyson Fury. They don't give a damn about Tevin Farmer. Also, same skin tone and whatnot, but I guess he's what, 100 pounds lighter. So maybe we don't care about Tevin Farmer. But here he is on the fly. I'm just going to tell Tevin Farmer, well, if you really want that fight, you would take less. Tevin Farmer negotiated the 2 fights ahead of the first fight. He's owed what he negotiated and what you agreed to, what you signed to. So there's no way now. I mean, you can, and he is, but there's no way now to sit here and say you need to take less in your cut. This is something that you messed up, that Golden Boy messed up. It's something that Golden Boy screwed up. Let me see what else he had to say on that.
Okay.
So it basically it boiled down.
All right, so that was the end of it. And shout out to Akim Barak because they pressed him. You know, he said something previously in the first reply that he gave. He tried to lay out how this was not his fault and how he was old, how he felt owed what he owed. He tried to talk through the A side, B side situation and tried to say and said that it's not about Tevin Farmer wanting a venue of his choice or Tevin Farmer being able to walk out second or anything. He went into the fact of what the purse was about. And then he basically did what a lot of fighters are doing right now, and they try to take control of the narrative and just said that he took a lot of risk and went in there and had a very severe cut, fought with the cut, figured it out, overcame, and won the fight. And he says now going back into the second fight, he should be paid. He should be paid more, or he should even be paid more than Tevin Farmer. But again, that's not something that you can make up on the fly. The contract already determined all of that. So his issue was with Golden Boy. It's not with Lou DiBella and Tevin Farmer. But again, with Golden Boy, if you sat here and made this fight and you had your fighter taking less in the rematch, who the hell read the contract? Who the hell let Golden Boy look this over and thought that this was good to go forward with it? Either you didn't think JoJo was going to win. We know that he had already lost the fight to Gary Russell Jr., which was a damn good fight in my opinion. JoJo was just outgunned in that one. But to send your man in here, I mean, that's I don't know a lot about contracts and deals and fight contracts and whatever, but I would think there'd be a clause or a condition in there that if my fighter, who is the B side going into the first one, if he wins, then the split has to flip, or it has to be 50-50. It could be no less than 50-50. You don't even have to go to Harvard or Yale or none of that. You could do something that I don't know. You could get a degree. You could graduate law school on online or something and know that. Especially with all the fights that Golden Boy has negotiated and all the deals that they've done, that's pretty textbook. My guy has to get no less than 50% on the second fight. But that didn't happen. So we'll see. And you know, and I don't even think the IBF can really get involved. I don't even know if that's like part of, you know, their jurisdiction or whatever, because that seems like a contract between the promoters. So I don't even know if they can go back and strip. I mean, maybe they could. You know, they can make up stuff on the fly, and maybe they should. But and the IBF is pretty. They seem to be pretty much sticklers about a lot of their stuff. They do seem to be sticklers more so than the rest of them about, you know, their rules and adhering to their rules and bylaws or whatever. So that's pretty interesting. But, you know, Tevin Farmer is sitting out here in the cold. Now he won't be fighting for a year. And it's a chance that Rakhimov, who has a good KO percentage, you know, might be able to beat Jojo Diaz. Now, one other thing to note here before I get ready to get on off of here is that COVID-19 has already wrecked this fight, as Rakhimov has tested positive, I believe, was the latest report on this. So this was scheduled for like what, February? Let me check real quick. February 13th, I want to say. Yeah, February 13th. But like I said, Rakhimov has tested positive for COVID, so that's gone. And then also, if you watching this stuff at least once a day, you know that Sergey Kovalev is popped for synthetic testosterone or something. So that's 2 fights right there that was scheduled for you know, for the zone that are gone now. Beck the bully, though, he did come out and say he didn't care what he had in him. He still wanted to fight. But, you know, I'm sure with the state athletic commission getting involved, they won't let that fight move forward. Who knows how long the postponement will be before they reschedule this fight between JoJo Diaz and Mr. Rakhimov. But in terms of the zone subscribers out there, you know, you might have been feeling somewhat decent if you're in the middle or early part of the 1 year or the annual pass or whatever they call it. You spent your $99 at one shot for 12 months. You might have been feeling pretty decent that you already had some cards out there. You also have March 6th with White and Povetkin too. They already announced that one. By the way, Matchroom is going to announce its schedule tomorrow. At least I believe like the first 6 months or whatever. So that's going to be on Matchroom Boxing's YouTube channel, I believe. So you can check that out to get those dates. But the one that they did confirm already was the rematch between Povetkin and Dillian White for March the 6th. But yeah, you might have been feeling pretty good about your money because last year I got caught in a situation where I had my year and I lost like 3 or 4 months when everything shut down. And then like in October, you know, my subscription ran out and I had to re-up. And I spent a couple of minutes on not on the phone, but in a chat talking with the customer service person, like, you know, y'all can't give me no 10 or 15% discount, knowing that I lost 90 days where there was no fighting. So anyway, but just to finish that off though, you know, Diaz tried to talk about the first fight. He tried to say that like force majeure canceled the or made the first contract expire. He tried to run out there with that. Who knows, you know, what if that carries water or not. And then he tried to say on this show, he tried to say that like a second contract was agreed to or something. It was all bad. It was all bad. This goes back to Golden Boy pretty much just being, you know, if you don't go to, and that's why you saw all of these guys in the last month, for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, it was a Golden Boy fighter signing up with MTK. So, and we already know the whole situation with Ryan Garcia working, you know, regularly or being in the gym with Canelo. Whatever the deal is, I know they renegotiated it last year or whatever. So if Ryan has 2 years or 3 years left on that or whatever it is, you know, that's got to be contentious or worrisome for Golden Boy to think that the guy who you think is your new face of Golden Boy, you know, is over here working out with the ops on a regular basis. And then when you sit and see situations like this where you couldn't even get your fighter a better deal on a rematch, like I said, you could have a law degree, a contract law degree from some online whatever, and anybody would have known if my guy wins, I need no less than 50% on the 50% on the rematch. That's ridiculous. But like I said, you can check that out if you have the zone. I know they put those videos up of the interviews with JoJo Diaz. Trying to think if he said anything else that was newsworthy. But you can check them out over there on the zone. And then, you know, they come on every day at noon to 3, I believe. And then also they put some of the snippets of some of the interviews up on YouTube. So you can track that down and listen to everything of what I just played. There was another section that I wanted to play, but it's kind of difficult to get right to it. So I'm not going to mess around. I don't like having Akin Barak's voice on my stuff. So, but you can check. That's the couple of different ways that you can get to it if you want to hear it. But just doesn't bowl. Oh, he did say, the one thing that he did say is that now that he's with MTK and he's being more informed about his business and he expects to be kind of marketed and pushed in the right way. And now that he likes what his lawyer, the information that his lawyer is providing him with this fight that was just announced as now postponed. He said with everything looking a lot better and operating a lot more professionally, that he expected. Well, he said they asked him would he stay with Golden Boy, and he said probably so. You know, he said he wouldn't object to sticking around with them because they helped him get here. And now I guess he's less worried about negligence, you know, in the performance of the duties of the promoter now that he has his advisory team, including MTK. So he did throw that out there. And he was talking about he had a lot of mental health issues and was depressed after the loss to Gary Russell. He talked about that. And so stuff like that. It was a pretty good interview. Like I said, it sucks that the fight is now going to be postponed. You know, who knows if they bring it back before the end of February or not. You know, who knows? But anyway, like I said, man, my name is Wood. This Bite Down Boxing. Don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.